Good evening. Now is the time and place for a meeting of the Beaverton Planning Commission. If you would like to speak during the visitor portion of the agenda or provide testimony on an agenda item, please use your raised hand feature in your Zoom menu bar. If calling in, press 9 to alert the chair you would like to speak. For the record, I will do roll call to verify which commission members are participating this evening. And we have everybody except for Commissioner Winter. No, there's Commissioner Winter. Commissioner, where am I? Ellis is missing. Is that right? Yes. Okay, so all are in attendance except for Commissioner Ellis. So we can move on to the visitor section of the agenda, which is an opportunity for members of the public to address the Planning Commission on a non-agenda issue or item. Anyone wishing to speak should indicate this to staff. Wait for your name to be called. Does anyone wish to address the Planning Commission on a non-agenda issue? Okay, staff indicates there is none. So any commission communications? Nope. Okay. Welcome, Commissioner Ellis.
Hey, happy Wednesday.
Any staff communication?
Good afternoon, Chair Nye, Anna Slatinsky, Planning Division Manager in the Community Development Department. I just have a couple of announcements, things going on in the city that I'd like to note. We have on June 21st, Beaverton Night at the Hillsborough Hops at Ron Tonkin Field. We have Pride Beaverton on Sunday, June 25th. And then I'm also super excited about 10 Tiny Dances, which is happening in the Beaverton Round on July 8th, which if people haven't seen that, it's a very cool multi-stage performance event where dances are performed around a little 4x4 foot stage. And it's truly one of the loveliest things, admittedly in a long lineup of great summer events that Beaverton throws. And that is all my announcements for tonight.
Okay, great. Thank you. So the first item on the agenda is the application for Avamere modifications, case file CU 2022-0008, DR 2022-0087, SDM 2022-0003, and TP 2022-0013. The applicant has the burden of providing that the applications are consistent with the Beaverton Development Code, Comprehensive Plan, and in the applicable Beaverton Code provisions. The criteria that must be addressed in this hearing are the Beaverton Development Code sections 40.03.1, Facilities Review, 40.15.15.4.c, Major Modifications of a Conditional Use, 40.20.15.2.c, Design Review 2, 40.58.15.c, sidewalk design modification, and 40.90.15.2.c, tree plan 2. Testimony, arguments, and evidence must be directed towards the approval criteria or other criteria in the comprehensive plan or development code that the speaker believes to apply to the application. Failure to raise an issue accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to allow the Planning Commission or other interested parties an opportunity to respond to the issue may preclude an appeal to the Land Use Board of Appeals based on that issue. Anyone who submits comments or gives oral testimony has standing to appeal this decision. Failure of the applicant to raise constitutional or other issues related to the proposed conditions of approval with sufficient specificity to allow the city to respond to the issue may preclude an action for damages in circuit court. State and local law require commissioners to make certain disclosures. To these ends, the following questions will be asked. Does any commissioner have a potential or actual conflict of interest in ex parte contact or site visits to declare? Commissioner Akal?
Nope.
Commissioner Ellis?
No to all three.
Commissioner Glenwinkle?
No to all three.
Commissioner Lawler?
No to all three.
Commissioner McCann?
I am familiar with the site, but no to the other two.
Okay. And Commissioner Winter?
I am very familiar with the site, and I did not do a site visit, and I have had no contact.
Okay. And no to all three for me. Does any member of the audience wish to question a commissioner about an ex parte contact or site visits or challenge the right of commissioner to participate in this hearing? Okay, staff has stated there's no response. The order of the public hearing tonight will be as follows. City staff will give a presentation followed by questions of staff from the commission. The applicant will then be given 20 minutes for its presentation, followed by commission questions of the applicant. Then members of the public in support of the application can speak for up to 5 minutes, followed by members of the public opposed to the application may speak for up to 5 minutes each. And last, members of the public who are neither in support nor opposed will have up to 5 minutes each. After public testimony, the applicant will have 5 minutes for rebuttal, and then the planning commission will hear any final comments from staff. We will now begin with city staff presentation.
Good evening, Chair Nye and Commissioners. My name is Elena Sasson. I'm an associate planner with the City of Beaverton, and the first item before you this evening is the Albemarle Mods proposal. Before we get started, staff would like to briefly point out on the first page of the staff report a typographical error. The case file number for the major modification of a conditional use is incorrectly listed as CU 2023-008. The correct case file number is CU 2022-008. The proposal consists of a 12,000 square foot building addition to an existing residential care facility within a residential zone. The proposal also includes site modifications, including changes to parking, driveways, and landscaping to accommodate the addition. The necessary applications for these modifications are major modification of a conditional use, design review 2, a sidewalk design modification, and a tree plan 2. The project is located at 11870 Southwest Allen Boulevard. The site as a whole is approximately 2.5 acres in size, but the proposed development would take place on a portion of the site. It's within the Beau Snack and is zoned multi-unit residential or MR. The addition of more than 1,000 square feet of floor area to an existing conditional use within a residential zone requires a major modification of a conditional use application. This site and use has had conditional uses or conditional use permits on file with the city since at least 1973. One of the approval criteria for the major modification of a conditional use application asks the applicant to demonstrate how the location, size, and functional characteristics of the proposal are such that it can be made reasonably compatible with the surrounding area and uses. And based on the materials submitted by the applicant, staff finds that the proposal is compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. As previously mentioned, the site has functioned as a residential care facility for decades. The applicant is proposing to reduce the residential capacity within the facility. And as to the character of the building and site, staff finds that it is not unlike the multi-dwelling unit buildings that are located to the east, south, and west of the site. The second application is a design review 2, which is necessary for the building addition, parking, and landscaping changes proposed. As can be seen on this site plan here, the majority of the work is proposed within the western area of the site. With the design review 2 application, the applicant must demonstrate compliance with applicable design review standards that address building design, circulation, landscaping, lighting, where these things are being added or modified. These architectural elevations show the proposed building addition, specifically as seen from the public right-of-way and internal parking areas or area. Based on the materials provided, staff find that the applicant has demonstrated compliance with applicable standards for the proposed building addition, landscaping changes, and parking lot addition. The applicant proposes to remove and replace the existing sidewalk along Southwest Allen Boulevard. The applicant also proposes a sidewalk along the unnamed public roadway to the east, which currently does not have a sidewalk. However, the sidewalk on Allen Boulevard and a portion of the sidewalk proposed on the unnamed public roadway do not meet the applicable sidewalk design standards as specified in the engineering design manual. An existing retaining wall is located along the southwest Allen Boulevard frontage and wraps around the corner to the unnamed public roadway. To achieve the required sidewalk widths, the retaining wall would have to be removed and relocated. As this proposal includes the reduction of trips to the site, right-of-way improvements are not required at this time, and subsequently, the removal of the retaining wall is not required. Staff find that the approval criteria for the requested sidewalk design modification have been met, as the request is due to an existing physical condition in the right-of-way. To accommodate the proposed addition and parking lot, the removal of trees is proposed. And although there are no protected trees on the site, the removal of 5 or more trees that are categorized as community trees requires a tree plan 2 application. The applicant's plans show that 7 community trees are proposed for removal in areas of the site that are impacted by the proposed development. Based on the materials provided by the applicant, staff finds that this criterion and other applicable criteria to the tree plan 2 application have been met. And with that, staff recommends approval of the Avamere Mods proposal, subject to the recommended conditions of approval made part of the June 7, 2023 staff report. Thank you very much, and staff is open to any questions the commission may have.
Great. Thank you. Do any commissioners have questions of staff? Okay, I'm not seeing any hands pop up. So I guess with that, we can move on to the applicant's presentation. You will now have 20 minutes. Please begin by introducing yourself and starting with your name and address for the record.
Yes, I'm going to start. My name is Albert Castaneda. I represent the owners and I represent Avamere as the Chief Development Officer of Avamere. And excuse me, I would just like to thank the City of Beaverton. Staff has been great to work with through this project. And although we have, we've leased this building from the current owners for more than 20 years, we've adapted it many times to keep up with the current needs of our seniors needing short-term or long-term care. And this is an extension of that. So this would get us more private rooms for the short stay rehab market and keeps us current with the needs of our seniors in the area. I'm going to defer to AKS and LRS architects to give a more detailed presentation, but I just want to start by saying, thank you to the staff to get us to this point. And as always, when time appropriate, I'm happy to answer questions, but I'll leave it to those that are better presenting than I am.
Hi, my name is Jackie Herb and I'm with AKS Engineering and Forestry. I'm going to share our screen so we can do a presentation for you. There we go. Can you guys see that okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. As I said, my name is Jackie Herb. First of all, I wanted to make sure to thank Chair Nye and Planning Commissioners for your time this evening to hear our application. My name is Jackie Herb and I'm with AKS Engineering and Forestry, and our address is 12965 Southwest Herman Road, Suite 100 in Tualatin, Oregon, and our zip code is 97062. AKS Engineering is one of the team members that's listed on this slide that helped put this application that's being discussed this evening. And wanted to also thank Elena for the positive staff report and recommendation for approval. I have a brief presentation. It's not much longer than Elena's, but I'll have a few additional things to go through. As Elena showed, the site is located south of Southwest Allen Boulevard and is 2.58 acres in size. and is zone multi-use unit residential. Elena talked about the modifications that are required to do the planned improvements, and those include a modification to an existing conditional use permit, design review 2, the sidewalk design modification, and a tree plan 2. This elevation shows the planned new entrance into the building. It's interior to the site, and it helps to demonstrate the intended architectural design for this project. The building, this is an aerial that shows in pale yellow the existing building as it sits today, and then the gold kind of helps to illustrate where the planned improvement, primarily the building, will be in this dark gold color. The planned improvements include interior renovations to this existing single level facility. It's about a 12,000 square foot building addition, and in total it will actually reduce the number of beds by 8. This shows a little bit more detail on the required site improvements that are required to accommodate this improvement. The existing site access is in the center of the site, and it's going to be shifted to the west. There will be a new pedestrian walkway adjacent to the new access that will connect pedestrians from Southwest Allen Boulevard, as well as the required ADA parking spaces to the building's entrance. And the main entrance is interior to the site along the western portion of the property. The improvements require the addition of 24 new vehicular parking spaces, and there will also be some covered bicycle parking spaces located near the entrance. This project will also include new landscaping, including screening and buffering along the western portion of the property and the frontage as well. The project will also have a few right-of-way improvements, some right-of-way dedications that will be necessary to accommodate the project. This slide illustrates the intended materials and colors that are planned for the renovation. This shows the north elevation, the primary one that faces Southwest Allen Boulevard that people will primarily see. And each of the new building elevations include permanent architectural features and a variety of finished materials to provide a nice visual experience for pedestrians. And then this is the south and the west facing elevations. Again, they continue the same architectural design as what is included facing Southwest Allen Boulevard. And that is it for our presentation, and we're happy to answer questions.
Great, thank you. Do any Commissioner Ellis has a question?
Yeah, hi there, Ms. Herb. Thanks for the info there. Just some clarity. The additional 12,000 square feet, but the subtraction of beds. What's the net new stuff that's happening in the new building?
Sure. So they're actually converting the current facilities include 35 private, semi-private units with shared toilets, and the renovation will convert those into 23 private units with private bathrooms, and that's in a portion of it. So they're making the actual units be more private rather than shared facilities. They'll also enlarge the existing employee break room, restroom, and they're going to be converting part of the existing occupational therapy room into a speech therapy office, and then they'll also be adding a public restroom in the south wing.
Hey, Jackie, can I add to that real quick? So, 15 years ago or so, there was a lot of buildings of this sort, we call nursing homes, were 2 and 3 bed units. And so we went through a process of making those 1 and 2 bedroom units. And so the current trend is to even get rid of those 2-bedroom units as much as we can. So this is to create as many private units for those people needing rehab, as opposed to them having to share a unit.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you for that.
Okay. Are there any other questions of the applicant? Okay, seeing none. We can move on to public testimony portion of the meeting. We will call testimony in groups, starting with those in favor of the application, then those opposed, and then those neither in favor nor opposed. So for those viewing via Zoom webinar, please communicate by using the raise hand feature in your Zoom menu bar. If calling in, press 9 to alert the chair you would like to speak. Would anybody like to speak in favor of the application? Staff has stated none. Would anybody like to speak opposed to the application? Or neither in favor nor opposed, but have some general comments or questions? Okay, I'm seeing none. So with that, there's no need for applicant rebuttal. And we can move on to final staff comments. Staff, have any final comments?
Thank you, Chair. I know no final comments from staff. Thank you.
Okay. So with final comments complete, I will close the public testimony of the hearing, and as standard procedure, I'll randomly poll commissioners to state their conclusions on the application. I'll start with Commissioner McCann.
I'm struggling a little bit because the new building doesn't orient to the street. So kind of the current existing condition does, although I understand with the type 2 that orientation to the street is not required. So I think ultimately, it does meet the criteria. I just think it's an unfortunate kind of move to disengage from Allen Boulevard.
Great. Thanks, Commissioner Glenwinkle.
I think it's a good proposal. I don't have any concerns.
Commissioner Winter.
Well, I'm glad we got the street dedication process straightened out. Other than that, I think there's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of stuff that shouldn't be challenged that was challenged, but other than that, I think it's a reasonable project.
Great. Commissioner Waller.
Yeah, I'm in support of the project. I think it meets the criteria for approval.
Okay, Commissioner Call.
I'm in support of the project. It looks like it meets the criteria.
And Commissioner Ellis.
Yeah, no major red flags for me as well. I had to reread the street dedication section of the staff report a couple of times. This relatively layperson's knowledge of architecture in those terms had to like jam them in my head a couple of times to make it stick. So hopefully that stuff is trackable and enforceable over time as that site potentially gets redeveloped and updated and those dedications get acted upon correctly. So other than that, yes, reasonable applications.
Okay, great. So with that, do we have a motion?
I move to approve CU 2023-0008, DR 2022-0087, SDM 2022-0003, TP 2022-0013 for the Avamere mods, subject to the conditions of approval in the staff report dated June 7, 2023, and direct staff to prepare a final decision and order based on the findings in the staff report and the entire record.
Do we have a second on the motion?
I can second.
Thank you, Commissioner Call. Any discussion on the motion?
Well, I believe that the conditional use is actually 2022-0008. So that, with that correction, I would second the motion.
Thank you. I apologize.
Thank you. So we will take a vote by roll call. When your name is called, please say aye or nay. Commissioner Akal.
Aye.
Commissioner Ellis.
Aye.
Commissioner Glenwinkle.
Aye.
Commissioner Lawler.
Aye.
Commissioner McCann.
Aye.
Commissioner Winter.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. So the motion passes unanimously. The Commission's decision will be memorialized in land use orders that will be provided to all parties that provided oral and written testimony. If you would like to appeal the decision, you must appeal in accordance with the applicable provisions of the Beaverton Development Code and the Land Use Board of Appeals. So the second item on the agenda is the work session for the housing needs analysis. The order of the session tonight will be as follows. We will begin by city staff presentation, followed by discussion and questions of staff by the commission. The commission will then hear public comments regarding the work session. Individual comments will be limited to 5 minutes. If you would like to speak during the public comment portion of the agenda, please use the raise hand feature in your Zoom menu bar. If calling in, press 9 to alert the chair you would like to speak. Once called on by the chair, you will be asked to unmute and speak to the commission. The commission may ask follow-up questions of individuals providing comments or staff. So we'll now begin with city staff report.
All right, one moment while I share my screen. Okay. So good evening, Chair Nye and Commissioners. My name is Jenna Hughes. I'm an Associate Planner, and I am joined by Brian Martin, Long Range Planning Manager. We are here tonight to get your feedback on the draft comprehensive plan amendments related to the most recent housing needs analysis. The draft amendments are included in your packet. So the housing needs analysis is a component of the Housing Beaverton project, which also consists of a housing production strategy intended to identify actions for the city to take to provide needed housing over the next 20 years. City staff worked with a consultant team led by APG MIG to conduct the housing needs analysis, which is a comprehensive study of housing needs, buildable lands, and potential policies and strategies to address current and future housing needs in Beaverton. The housing needs analysis report was reviewed by both the Planning Commission and City Council in April, and the report was finalized and sent to the state in May to satisfy state grant requirements. So we're now in the process of creating amendments to incorporate the housing needs analysis into Beaverton's comprehensive plan. Our housing needs analysis found that by 2042, Beaverton's population will grow by 19,000 people, and we'll need over 9,000 more homes in order to accommodate this need. The greatest unmet needs include affordable rental and ownership housing, housing for larger households, accessible housing, and preventing displacement. The report also describes that a smaller percentage of single detached homes will be needed in the future, and there will be a growing need for more middle housing types, such as townhomes, cottage clusters, and plexes. More details can be found in the housing needs analysis report included in your materials. And the full report will be added to Volume 2 of the comprehensive plan, which will replace the previous buildable lands inventory and housing strategies report. The draft amendments for Volume 1 of the comprehensive plan include changes to chapters 3 and 4. Under the land use element chapter, a couple changes are proposed that update the terminology used to describe single detached housing and housing with 2 or more units. This would ensure that the language is consistent with the development code, as well as terminology we've been using since the adoption of the Housing Options Project in 2022. And under the housing element chapter, changes are proposed throughout the chapter to incorporate the language, data, and findings that are in the most recent housing needs analysis report. So in terms of next steps, on July 19th, there will be a public hearing before Planning Commission on these proposed comprehensive plan amendments related to the housing needs analysis. The City Council hearing to consider adoption of the amendments is scheduled to take place September 5th. And after that, City Council is scheduled to adopt the housing production strategy by resolution on September 19th. So that concludes staff presentation. And the only question I have for you all tonight is, do you have any questions or comments about the draft comprehensive plan amendments? Thank you.
Great. Any commissioners with comments or questions? No. It's a very quiet night tonight. I'd say I thought it looked good. I didn't have any well, I have a question. The housing capacity at South Cooper Mountain, is that just what's left to build? It doesn't include what's currently has occupancy?
Could you repeat your question? You're talking about the buildable lands inventory?
Yeah,
or
yeah. Sorry.
The entire report? Yeah, it considers, and Brian can correct me if I'm wrong because I'm a little rusty on what's in the details of the BLI at this point. But it does look at land that has not yet been developed, as well as land that could potentially be redeveloped. So if it's already been developed and not likely to be redeveloped, it may not be included in that buildable lands inventory. I hope that answers your question.
So I'll put South Cooper Mountain where all the apartments have been built and stuff. That density has already been pulled out of the buildable lands inventory.
Well, the buildable lands inventory was completed last year. Most of the analysis was done in 2022. So if it's more recent development, that might not have been pulled out.
Okay. I thought I saw a hand up, but
that was mine. I'm sorry, I answered my own question.
Okay, great.
Chair, hi, it's Brian Martin, Long Range Planning Manager. I will maybe to clarify without it being necessary, but but when we did the BLI, we had the total expected number of housing units we were going to have in South Cooper Mountain from both the plan and like looking at all the development applications that have been approved. So we were able to make sure we weren't double counting and it was accurate for what we would expect there.
Okay, great. Okay, well, if there's no other comments or questions from commissioners, we can move on to the public comment. For those viewing via Zoom webinar, please communicate by using your raise hand feature on the Zoom menu bar. If calling it in, press 9 to alert the chair you would like to speak. Do we have anybody in the audience who is looking to speak? I'm seeing no hands raised. The staff has said none. So, staff, you have any final comments?
No, thank you for your time tonight.
Okay, we're letting you off easy.
Yeah, look forward to seeing you next month.
Okay, great. So the only other item on the agenda are the meeting minutes for January 11th, 2023 and January 18th, 2023. I know, is there a motion?
Sure. I move to approve meeting minutes from January 11, 2023 and January 18, 2023.
Is there I'm not sure of the process here because there are corrections that need to be made to the minute.
We'll do discuss.
I guess, sure. I guess yeah. Okay. You can maybe amend your motion after I get the corrections. The January 11th meeting minutes says that I called it to order, but then it says I was excused and absent. I believe I was at the meeting and did call it to order. So it also has under visitor section, Vice Chair McCann asked for visitors, which would have been me. And then I think it's probably correct after that. So that's the correction.
Who makes that correction? Just for my education.
I think the staff would just make the correction.
Oh, okay.
And finalize the meeting minutes. Or Robin, should we?
Yeah,
hold them back?
No, staff can make the correction, but why don't we just clarify that the motion has been amended or revised as corrected with Chair and I's corrections. Robin McIntyre, Assistant City Attorney, by the way.
Thanks, Robin.
Okay. So let me try this again. I move to approve the meeting minutes dated January 11, 2000. Well, wait, do I reapprove or I just say?
Say approve with the corrections.
I move to approve the meeting minutes with the corrections noted by Chair Nye. Is that Robin's giving me a look?
Yeah, that sounds good.
And then, great. Waller seconded. Yay. Any discussion on the motion? Okay. We can do a vote by raising your hand if you approve. Okay, Commissioner. Yep. Okay, great. It was approved unanimously. So with that, we will adjourn at 7:08 p.m.
Chair.
Yes.
So sorry. Was that motion only for the January 11th minutes?
I think it was for both.
Intended for both.
Okay.
But we can.
Do we all agree that it was intended for both? Because I voted yes, thinking it was just for the 11th, and I'm sorry.
Oh, well, we can always do a second motion for the other one really quickly.
I'll give you a yes for the other one real fast, if that helps.
Okay.
I think
so
we're
it's
good.
okay that they were together, I guess.
Yeah. It was okay that they were together. Yeah.
Okay. If I'm the only one who made that mistake, then I will. I'm calling it out loud that I now understand that it's for both, and I still would approve for both if that was the motion.
And I'll just add that it's fine to have it as both if they're approved. If there was any discrepancy and any potential vote against one of the minutes, then we would need to separate it. But since everybody is unanimously approving it, it's fine to have it together.
Okay. Thank you, Rob.
So now we are officially adjourned at 7:09 p.m. Thanks, everyone. Go enjoy the sunshine.